Have you ever been in a bar or a club and you see a really cute girl and you're looking at her and all of a sudden she looks at you and she sees you looking at her and you go, oh crap, and you look the other direction, hoping that she didn't notice you checking her out? You probably know this is the wrong thing to do. But today I want to talk with you about what the right thing is to do when you see a girl looking at you. If you think about that very common experience that most guys have had, where they're checking out a girl to get caught and they suddenly try to look the other way and pretend they hadn't noticed her. Think about everything that conveys to her in that moment. You know, what are the messages you're telling her about the kind of man that you are? You're conveying the idea, first of all, that you're ashamed. You're ashamed of the fact that you were looking at her. You're conveying the fact that you feel like you didn't have a right to look at her. You're conveying the fact that you feel the need to hide your true feelings. Hide, just to be subversive. These are all things that women don't want. They don't want a man who is ashamed of the fact that he likes a girl. They don't want a man who feels that he has to hide himself or has to, subvert. I mean, any guy who's ever been caught lying by a chick knows how important truth and transparency is to women. So rather than convey all that stuff, what do we need to do? Well, I know a lot of guys have probably read a book here or there, and the book has said, look, eye contact is really, really important. And eye contact it's huge, it's big, we all know it. But where a lot of guys go wrong, and I see it all the time, imagine you're a girl for a second, you're in a bar, a club, or a house party, and you're just glancing around the room, and all of a sudden you see a guy doing this to you. Now, I know guys do this a lot. Next time you're out and about, just look around and you'll see guys doing the freaking blue steel of death stare as they're looking around the room. What they're trying to do is do cool and suave face, but what they're really doing is kind of like the glare. And that's not cool. That's kind of scary. That's a little bit rapey and intimidating, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And so eye contact by itself isn't the key. Eye contact is part of the key. What you must do if you see a cute girl looking in your direction, what are you got to do? Well, yeah, you got to hold her eye contact because you don't want to look away and be ashamed, but you got to smile. In fact, you've got to smile like a motherfucker. Like, don't just go, like big, like I'm smiling to you guys now. The reason is this has a very big psychological impact on her. First of all, most women, especially in bars and clubs, have the experience of guys generally being quite sleazy. Sleazy and sort of manipulative, and a big beaming wide open smile is very non-confrontational. It allows you to create this really strong eye contact moment, and it says that I'm confident and I'm happy and I'm not going to be awkward or weird around you. It says all the right things in that little moment. But there's two added bonuses to smiling like a motherfucker when you see a girl looking at you, and that's this. First of all, your emotions and your body language are linked. That is, we know that your body language, it leaks what you're feeling, right? So when someone's feeling nervous and shy, they close up. When someone's feeling confident and happy, they open up and they start to smile more on all these things. But the same as the reverse is true as well. So if I forcibly start to smile more, I start to feel more confident and happier and better about myself. So that's great. Just consistently smiling at more women makes you feel like a more confident man. But more than that, have you ever been somewhere and a stranger has smiled at you? Have you ever had that experience, like a big beaming smile? What did you do in that moment? Because I'm willing to bet that you smiled back to that stranger. And you may have sort of walked away and gone, why did I smile at that person? I didn't even know them. But you did it anyway. And this is really interesting because it's a very unknown social written rule that if someone smiles at you, you tend to smile back. And the effect this creates is that if a woman has smiled at me, even if it's just because I smiled at her first, when I then go and talk to her, she's 2 or 3 times more receptive to me being around because she has already smiled at me. She's already had that moment with me that said, oh, we're happy here. And it's a really interesting thing. And I focus on this really heavily with a lot of my guys. Any of you viewers who struggle with, doing approaches on women and the women aren't really friendly right from the get-go, If you start smiling like a motherfucker right in the beginning, like when they first see you, you'll notice that has a huge impact on their receptiveness to you. So guys, when you catch a girl looking at you, it's as simple as that. That's what you've got to do. You've got to break that habit of looking away, pretending like you weren't checking her out, and instead hold the eye contact, be smiling like a motherfucker, and make her way more likely to be friendly towards you when you go up and say hello. Now, if you're wondering what you should say to her when you go up and talk to her, if you're wondering how you're going to build attraction from there, I've got a free audiobook download of my best-selling, award-winning book, Sincere Seduction. You can get it right now by clicking the link over here, or there's also going to be a link in my notes below. I'm Damien Diecke. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos.